Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here, the Watchmen, and I'm so excited today to bring you one of the top YouTubers in the country. She's a woman who is devoted to telling the truth and getting the real information out to you. She's also just a wonderful woman of God who spreads the gospel and her joy through everything she does. So I want to bring on Lisa Haven from Lisa Haven News. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm happy to be here with you, Mike.
Well, we just really appreciate you taking time out of your day. And, we want to talk a little bit today about, what's really going on with this whole Vegas thing. We've got people saying, it's a false flag, blah, blah, blah. All the bodies were actors. I'm telling you, folks, they weren't actors. People got killed there. I think it's now 58 people died. There are, hundreds, over 500 injured. The numbers keep changing. New things keep coming out. We're at a point right now where even the sheriff of Las Vegas area there, he has come out and said he couldn't have done it alone. He had to have an escape plan. And there are a ton of unanswered questions. And it's just going to all continue to come out. Lisa, what do you see? What's going on? Are they trying to kind of take us down one particular path rather than give us the truth?
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. When we look at everything that's going on, you said a lot of things in the beginning there. You said 50 some odd people were injured. You said killed. 500 some odd were injured. That's a massive amount of people. Now, first of all, one man to do that amount of damage, it's impossible. That amount of people that were impacted and infected. And here's the other thing. A lot of people say, oh, it was a fake event. No, it was a real event. That's a huge amount of people that were impacted and affected. It did happen, and it's unfortunate. Lots of people got injured. Lots of people got hurt, and my prayers go out to each and every single one of those. But the truth is, there's so many questions that are not being answered by the mainstream media. And quite frankly, they're refusing to answer them, because I think if they do, then they're going to be forced to say, oh, this is part of the left, the radical left is planning. And I honestly think that Stephen Paddock is a patsy. That there is a bigger agenda in mind, maybe a democratic, progressive, leftist-leaning agenda in which they want to accomplish to, first and foremost, they want more gun control. We know that one of the first things Hillary Clinton did wasn't let's pray for the family. It was blaming the NRA and saying, oh, it's the NRA's fault because of imagine if he had a silencer on the gun. And the thing is, she's lying, because you can't put the silencer would melt on a machine gun like that, So it's like So I mean, there's all these half truths, and she wasn't the only one. Multiple Democrats went out, and that's the first thing that they took advantage of is that opportunity. But there are so many things. It's likely there was more than one gunman. Tons of video footage has been put out on that. Photos of his room were leaked, and there was actually a suicide note, but nobody has reported on that. Like, one of the pictures actually showed it. And my question is, how are they able to rule off the suicide anyway? I mean, they said, oh, the guy committed suicide within minutes. I mean, literally, where's the investigation to find out if it was a suicide or a murder or whatever? We just don't know. And that's why I say he could have been some kind of patsy for a higher up. But other things were, the law enforcement were discussing, if you listen to their police scanner, which I've listened to a few times, another suspect on the 4th floor, that was one. And again, like you said, it's impossible for one man to take out that amount of people. Another thing is, how did he get all those guns into the room without being noticed? I know that there were talks of people saying that he actually, he's a platinum member or gold member, something like that, for the hotel there, and that it's likely he could have had contact or known the CEO of the hotel, who was often known for his leftist progressive style views. So there's so many things, and that's not even all. I mean, there's like 20. He didn't have much military experience. Why was there a woman telling the crowd 45 minutes that you're all going to die? This happened 45 minutes before the shooting. Why did it take him 72 minutes to get to Paddock's room? Why did he wire 100 grand to the Philippines? Why was his girlfriend, where was she when the attack took place? Was he on antidepressants? None of these things. And why was ISIS so eager to quickly say, hey, we're at fault for this thing? Why did they jump it so quick? And then why did they dismiss the claim of ISIS so quick? Because ISIS isn't known for just taking the blame of everything. They usually take the blame for things that they've done. So, and we know that Mary Lou Danley has ties to the Middle East. Specifically, there's pictures of her all over Dubai. So these are things, again, that, you know, people are asking, and I think they have a right to ask.
Well, you know, I agree, and it's interesting the way things are spinning. You know, we did have that video from the heroic cab driver who picked some people up and took them to safety. But during she was in front of the hotel there, the Mandalay Bay, and as she was driving out, you can see muzzle flashes, or what appears to be muzzle flashes, from much lower in the building, 32nd floor, whatever floor he was on there, in the 30s. And that's disturbing that no one's addressed that. Even more disturbing to me, Lisa, is that woman who ran through the crowd telling people that they were all going to be killed. I haven't seen anything on them trying to find her. Have you?
Not a thing. Not a thing. And that's the thing. There was even, I was Googling too, and there was footage of Mary Lou Danley like a week before. I'm not exactly how sure before, but she was in a subway saying, you're all going to die. And she's got this blanket on. So it's like she obviously knew about it. And they were really quick to dismiss her right off the bat as well. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that video footage. Obviously, she knew something. So if she knew and didn't say, then isn't that a crime in and of itself? You know, I mean, like, that's why I'm leaning. This guy's definitely a patsy for someone. He was planted there to do a job for this reason. And that's why you're not getting many answers from the police department, from the sheriff's department. These are things that they want to push underneath the rug, so we don't know. And think of the target. It was conservative. It was a country music, you know, out there. That's mostly going to be your Trump supporters, your conservatives, your Christian, that kind of family-oriented event. And he specifically targeted that. And we know he had to have some kind of views or motive or radicalized agenda. It wasn't just to get a name for himself. Usually the people that are out to get a name for themselves are younger, not somebody who is 64 years old, right? So here is this 64-year-old man shooting into the crowd. There was a motive, a radicalized motive. There is something going on. And again, I think, I mean, there's just too many unanswered questions that they're refusing to tell the American people.
Yeah, you know, and what's interesting is, you know, the old adage about Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And it's as if they're trying to do that again. And it's not going to happen. I mean, they can't keep this one within the perimeter of Las Vegas. Vegas has always been a bastion of go do whatever you want to do. And once you leave here, the slate's clean. That's not going to happen this time. Now, I want to get your opinion on how they're trying to control what everyone sees. I noticed in the Wall Street Journal today, there was an article about YouTube where YouTube is changing their search engine to filter out those of us along with the party line. And by that, what I mean is they have decided that there are credible reports and people, as in the mainstream media. And then there are the fringers, which incorporates people like you, me, Steve Quayle, Doug and Joe Hagman, on and on and on down the line. And so it appears that there is a, for lack of a better term, to silence this outside opinion of what's going on. What do you think that's all about? Is that New World Order, or the Illuminati, or the Globalists? What is that?
Well, for starters, the mainstream media is tipped, right? CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all of them, because they've had the attention and the eyes of the American people for a very long time. And now they have this love affair with Google and YouTube and all these partners, because look, they don't like you and me. They don't like the Hagmans. They don't like InfoWars. They don't like any of us, because we're out there sharing what they're not, because they're not doing their job. Why? Because they are funded and paid by the globalists. They are funded and paid by the deep state. Heck, part of them are owned by Saudi Arabians. I mean, hello. So we have the 6 media giants, which basically control all the media, which the American people are seeing. They did not account for people like you and me rising up on the internet and getting the truth out. Now, we've tipped off a lot of people. So because both the media and those controlling the media have an agenda to keep everything under the radar, to keep everything silenced. And that is how they're controlling the American people. That's why they're upset and they're mad and they're trying to silence us. And they're going to do everything they can to do that. And that's why the American people, you and me, we have to fight back in the information war. We can't just bend over and let them do it. We have to email, start saying, hey, we're not going to buy your product, or we're not going to do this if you continue to silence our First Amendment right. We're not going to watch CNN, MSNBC. We're going to turn those off. And you let us have, the real news, the things like that. And if we don't take a stance now, you can guarantee you that we're going to lose our children in the future. We're going to lose our freedoms, our rights, because then they figured out ways, and they're already pushing in brainwashing techniques that they've learned over the years via the media, via the TV, lying straight to the American people's face. It's blunt now. I mean, they don't even try to hide it. It's a lot. Once you say a lie long enough, it becomes truth, right? So that's kind of what they're practicing on the mainstream media. So we cannot allow that to happen. And we just have to continue to say, look, follow me on other outlets, and the American people, if they continue and they follow and they listen and they learn, then I think the war can be won and the battle can be pushed out, at least for some time. But we're fighting for our freedoms here, and that's really what we need to keep at the forefront. And we need to make sure that we're educating the people on what's right and what's going on and the truth about things. Otherwise, we're going to lose entire generations, and we're in hell over high water in the very near future.
Amen, Lisa. Amen to that. Now, you're a very intelligent person. I've watched everything that you've done, and you're largely responsible for why I'm on YouTube now. So I'm going to ask you a question, and folks, I don't want you sending Lisa a bunch of emails or me a bunch of emails. This is just a question and opinion. Lisa, what do you think their overall motive is in doing all of this? Are they trying to bring us back into a communist state? What's going on there?
In a nutshell, pretty much. I mean, they want control. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, if you want to say it that way. Those who are in power want more power. Those with, massive amounts of money want to play the game to earn more money. So they play the game of chess with the American people, with countries, with nations. But then they also have battles in and of themselves. You have the really rich, the government, all these different powers that fight each other for the control of us, of the average Joe. And the truth is, we just want to live our lives with our freedom, with our peace. That's what we want. And we want the groups that are going to give us that. And there are people on both sides that are willing to fight for that and stand up for that. Not everybody in government is corrupt. Not everybody who has money is corrupt. There is good on both sides and bad on both sides of the fence. But the ultimate end game, I think, is a biblical one. We know that they want a new world order, a one world government. They want that's already happening through the United Nations, through the World Bank, through all these world organizations that we have that are, teaming up, if you will, the UN. And so the ultimate agenda is one to rule them all, like the biblical version where they have 10 and then one rises among the 10. A lot of people can find that in the book of Revelation. That is the end game. And, one day the Bible says we will get there, but nobody knows the day or the hour when we're going to get there. So in the meantime, I think as Christians, we need to stand against those atrocities and fight while we can, and at least save souls in the meantime. So.
Yeah, well, that's great advice. Folks, really pay attention to what's going on. Really pay attention to what's happening out there, and go, just Google Lisa Haven. You can see her YouTube channel. Subscribe to her channel. Please subscribe to our channel. And we shift gears a little bit. We are excited that Lisa is going to be one of the MCs at the Hear the Watchman conference in Dallas, Texas, March 22nd through the 25th, 2018. You can come there, you can meet her, you can talk with her, you can share opinions with her. She doesn't bite.
Just a little.
Just a little. She's very warm to talk to, and we'll spend time with you. So go to hearthewatchmen.com, get your tickets today, and get there to Dallas, Texas, to not only talk to Lisa, but talk to the other speakers, which we have a preliminary list up. We're announcing in November amazing anointed speakers that will be at that conference. We are going to be doing heavy duty workshops there to arm you spiritually for the times ahead. So don't miss out on that. Lisa, you know, to wrap things up, what's in the future for you? What do you have planned? You're just going to keep fighting the good fight, or is there anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, just keep fighting the good fight. I'll be at the conference there, excited about that. I know I'm going to also be on the Last Evangelist TV series, so going to start a active role in that. So just a few things on my plate as of now, but definitely, I guess my number one goal is to continue to inform, advise, and you know, maybe even get more active at a local level. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah.
Well, now this is a shameless plug, but now exactly how did you get involved with the Last Evangelist? Where did you meet Gary Heavener?
At your conference. so yeah, I met David at your conference there, and hey, that's how it works, right? That's why everybody should go, because when you go to these things, you meet people, you find contacts, you get to talk to people you've never talked to before, and they're absolutely amazing. So make sure you guys check it out there in Dallas.
Well, Lisa, thanks so much for joining us today. We pray for you daily, and we wish you the best. You are truly an inspiration to a lot of us that are on YouTube. I know you've been at it for quite a long time, and you do an awesome job. So thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks again for having me, Mike.
So folks, that's going to wrap it up here for this episode of the Watchman's Report. As always, remember, you can do absolutely anything with Jesus, except nothing at all. So you got to get out there, and you got to do the work, and you got to answer his call. Until I see you next time here on the Watchman's Report, God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day.